Hi everyone, I'm Dan.
Hi everyone, this is Dan.
Hi,
Dan is a personal trainer.
I am.
He's joining us for episode 4 of the Structural Sense podcast, which we weren't planning on filming today, but Ryan made me do it. So we're here, we're doing it completely off the cuff. Ryan's okay with that because he has no real responsibility here anyway. All he does is answer questions that you guys ask. So
I'm just here.
He just smiles.
really doesn't do
There it is.
anything, but
There it is.
as always, I'm at Steve Sansford. He's at Ryan from work. You guys can find us on Instagram, Twitter.
Where can we find Dan?
Where can we find you, Dan?
Stevenson PT
Stevenson PT.
on Instagram.
Click on the link.
Yes,
It'll be easier
absolutely.
that way. What are we going to talk about?
I'm just here.
So we were going to talk about mindset again, because obviously that's what we're doing here at Structural Sense. But we're interviewing Dan here today and his mindset on training and fitness and basically all of it, all the above,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself first. Let's do that. Let's do that one first.
Sounds good. My name's Dan Stevenson. I started up Stevenson Personal Training about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I've been involved with fitness for my entire life. I played football, hockey. Growing up, I'm very active. Yeah, that's about it.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So you know the history behind where this podcast idea came from. A little bit about it.
Somewhat, yeah.
Started over there on that second bench in the corner. When I said
beautiful
something
place.
to Ryan, it's a wonderful place, isn't it? That's
Yeah, it is a
my
beautiful
least
place.
favorite spot in the whole gym. That's the part where I get hurt. But that's where it started with an idea that the reason I was having more success this time through was because my mindset was different this time.
Yeah.
I had a proper mindset because I spent the last 3 years developing my mindset. And that was a comment that Ryan made, that how important that is to getting the results you're looking for, not only from personal training, but from life in general. How important it is to have that mindset. Now, somebody like yourself, you've got a history, like you said, in athletics, in sports, and in fitness. You probably have had that mindset from the beginning. You understand the way everything works. You understand the way the compound effect works. So I'm willing to bet that you deal with some clients that probably struggle
Yeah.
with that.
I'm going to tell you right off the hop that I've even struggled with mindset going through. Anyone that tells you that they haven't struggled with kind of keeping themselves in check is completely lying to you.
I would agree with that, absolutely.
So I've definitely gone through some stages in my life where I've been broken, not there, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, mindset is an absolutely huge part, and I preach this to my clients all the time. It's a huge aspect to training, and yeah, if you don't have the mindset down, this is going to be very short term. This isn't going to be a long lasting thing. This is only going to last for.
So what are some of the techniques, some of the things you use to help your clients develop that mindset? Because I know Ryan's clients, not a lot of them come in here with it already. It's something he develops through the process.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you do to help your clients develop that process?
A big thing for me is slow and steady wins the race. If you're trying to push someone from 0 to 100, that's not sustainable. And I tell my clients that all the time. That's why you see a lot of people fall off, because they get on these diets that, okay, well, I'm eating not the best.
Right.
And then we're going to eat completely clean. We're cutting carbs down by 50%. It's completely unrealistic. So
Right.
I always say go from 0 to 20, 20 to 40, and then just work your way all the way up to 60, because that's building a sustainable habit, sustainable mindset to not only short-term develop, but overall to make sure that you're going to be successful moving forward for a long period of time.
I know that we talk a lot about the whole concept of mindset, and we use a lot of whiteboards in here, right?
Love
Whenever
whiteboards.
we write our programs and whatnot for the day. And the one thing I've always noticed is on your whiteboard you have a graph that has something to do with reward and all that. Could you explain a little bit of that? Because I think that has a little bit to do about mindset as well.
So you talk about the habit loop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
So for people that don't know, a basic habit loop, you have a cue, a routine, and then a reward. And we're always going to have the same cues and rewards. It's about changing up your routine. For example, I used to bite my nails. This is what I tell people all the time. I used to bite my nails. So what it was is my cue would be I'd be flicking my nails, and then I would chew them, and then the reward would I wouldn't feel anything afterwards. So it's switching up it's making sure that you're switching up that routine, but you'll always have the cue and the reward. So if that makes any sense to anyone.
Yeah. So how would that relate in a sense of, say, for instance, in the fitness industry? So let's talk about the whole concept of nutrition, right? Because that's probably the easiest one to talk about when it comes down to the whole cueing, habits, rewards, all the above, right? So
yeah, well, you and I have talked about this numerous times. There are certain things that you can do. Polkwin told us about how to.
Yeah, I guess that's going to be our tip, right?
Yeah.
So one of the great tips that I've researched recently is whenever you're craving, right? So there's a routine more or less whenever a person is craving, they're wanting either carbohydrates or fats, right? Majority of the time it's carbohydrates, majority of the time it's sugars or breads or chips or something like that, right? And a great way to actually get rid of that craving is 5 grams of glutamine in a shot of 35% lactose-free milk. You down it, and it pretty much just goes away.
Takes away the craving.
Right,
I've tried
so-
it, and it definitely works.
It works.
Yeah.
It works great.
So that's having that cue of the craving, and then switching up the routine with that little shot or whatever, and then still having the reward of not having that craving
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
So what you're saying is the cue is generally the same thing all the time. The reward can be
There
the
will
same.
always be the
trick
same
is to
cue.
switch the thing that's in the middle.
Yeah, yeah, it's the routine that
That's an
we're switching
interesting way
it.
to look at it. I
Yeah.
kind of like that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So the next time I want pizza, that's my cue. I'm hungry and want pizza. Maybe I need to try the glutamine and milk,
Yeah.
or not film a podcast on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
That could also maybe work too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I like that. That's simple, and I think it works. And I've been hearing about this 35% cream and glutamine thing for a while now. We're going to have to experiment with that for the next podcast.
The key that I always tell people though is that it's not a replacement. In the case that it is, like what I like to do with a lot of my clients is, if they've eaten already and they feel that they're hungry a couple hours later, sometimes sometimes thirst represents itself as hunger, right? So
I've
I
heard
say,
that before.
Yeah. I've
take a couple drinks of water, take a couple cups of water, down it, wait a couple minutes, see how you feel, because it could just be thirst, right? It could be that you're dehydrated as well. So
And another thing I tell my clients is a lot of people eat for that heavy, like we're so accustomed to carbs that a lot of my clients eat for that heavy feeling in their stomach, and they continue to eat until they get that heavy feeling. That's why portioning is so good. So you can always have that salad, and after people down it, they're like, well, I'm still hungry. No, you're not still hungry. You're just used to that feeling on your stomach.
it's a mindset thing.
Again, mindset.
Purely-
Absolutely.
purely,
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
Marlon.
Yeah, people are going to realize that's a real gym now. They're not going to think
Hi,
it's
Marlon.
a bad green screen job.
Yeah, it actually looks like a green screen.
It looks like a terrible green screen.
Looks like a terrible green screen.
We talk about the effect of personal development on personal training for people. Talk about the effect of personal development as personal trainers, as business owners. You guys are business owners. You run a business. You're self-employed. You're what I refer to as a solopreneur. You have no employees. You guys run the whole show.
Yep.
In addition to having the mindset to come in here every day and push your clients and help your clients achieve their goals while maintaining your own fitness levels, which takes work. I know you spend a lot of time in here. Maybe you could talk a bit about your personal routine. How does it all factor in, those disciplines factor into being a business owner, being a personal trainer? You guys are both independent. You're not working for a large gym here, right? You're kind of on your own. You're taking that risk. I mean, that's adding to your stress levels. That's adding to your freedom as well. So talk a little bit about that and how your mindset affects those kind of decisions.
Let's hear what you have to say.
What I have to say, it's a choice, right? In a sense. So, for me, I've always been the type of person where I like to be solo. I like to not have someone to basically hold me accountable in a sense, because I find that I can hold myself accountable. Being self-employed and having to do all this is something I love. I enjoy it, right? But at the same time too, you can inspire someone, but you can't motivate them, right? So in a sense of my own training business, it's me that motivates myself to come in here because I love what I do, right? So being able to come in here and change people's lives and help them out with things that they're not professionals in, and give them that advice, give them results and all the above is is great, and that's what gives me the motivation to come here every single day and just keep going, right? So, right, and it's something that I've developed over time. It's not necessarily, something that just came on. You grow, right, in your business as you do personally, and I've worked for corporate for a couple years as well, 5 years, and I've learned some things through a corporate gym as well, so that was great. But
And I want to come back and touch on that for a second, right after we hear from Dan, because I have a follow-up question for you for that one.
Well, to start off, I was the worst employee ever.
Yeah.
Ever. I quit every single one of them, got fired from a couple. And
Hey.
I just, honestly, if I'm not fully involved in what I'm doing or absolutely love and am passionate about every single morning when I wake up, I can't do it.
Exactly.
I've tried it. I can't do it. So working for companies that honestly to me is just nonsense, and I'm like, why am I here? Well, I don't last that much longer. One of the main reasons why I actually started personal training is it was out of necessity. It was, what do I want to do every single morning when I wake up? Well, I don't want to do this, and this. I love training and I love helping people. So, I started personal training, got my cert, and it's been a crazy ride. And yeah, man, there's some pretty powerful stuff that happens along the way that really helps you grow as an individual. And
There is. I completely understand I'm completely unemployable. I've always been unemployable. I just didn't realize how unemployable I was. I'm completely unemployable.
I kept on going by these traditional you need to keep on handing out your resume and stuff. Nothing.
Yeah.
Go to school, get a good job, get a good education. You put in 40 years at a company to retire on 40% of what you couldn't live on before.
Exactly. And I know a lot of people.
The Industrial Revolution was a wonderful thing in so many different ways.
Absolutely.
It brought us railroads, it brought us industry, it brought us everything.
Manufacturing, all the above, yeah.
It also brought us jobs. Because before the Industrial Revolution, before the Industrial Era, we didn't have jobs. We were all solopreneur. We all did our thing. We all practiced our trade. We practiced our craft. We didn't have jobs. Somehow we traded that freedom for the security of a paycheck. That doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. I hear it all the time. People say that they love what they do as far as their job, but if they didn't give you a paycheck, would you show up tomorrow?
And the answer to that question is no.
No, never.
One of the crazy, and people say all the time, is how much they love their job or whatever, but yet they'll go into work and complain the entire time about their job. Why the shit are you there?
Yeah. They'll come home from the job and say, "What did you do today?" Nothing.
And
Well, you did something. You were there for 8 hours, but you don't remember what it was because you had no emotional connection to what you were doing.
Exactly.
And it's just that mindset. We've been raised as children to go all the way through school, and school's even a corporation that I don't even want to get into that. But
That's a whole other
that's a
episode.
whole
We're going to do a future episode on student debt.
It's and how they make millions and millions and millions.
Yeah,
of dollars
because
off of us.
credit card debt can be erased by a bankruptcy. Student debt can't. So,
Yeah.
It never goes away.
student debt's the new credit card.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But yeah, man.
Yeah. So what was your follow-up question, Steve?
Yeah.
I'm going to make a note to come back and talk about that in a future episode. Because that's brilliant. I love rants. You worked as a personal trainer.
Yes.
For a large corporate
Yes.
gym. And when I first met you, you had always had the dream of having your own studio, doing your own thing, much like what you're doing now. But I'm curious, also when I met you, you hadn't had a lot of the personal development from a business aspect. How much of what you experienced in the last 3 years, the personal development you went through, the things that you learned, the people you heard, the people that you got to meet and encourage you, led you to finally making that decision that, okay, now is the time for me to walk away and to go do my own thing? I can't help but wonder, had you not absorbed the personal development that I've seen you absorb, are you still here or are you at the other place?
You know what? I would say I'd probably still be at the other place. Part of the reason as to why I was able to step away was because of my network marketing business as well.
Right.
It's one, taught me a lot as far as personal development, but two, professional development as well has been great. What I have to say about that is, the big thing for me as a personal trainer is I've always had the drive to do it.
Yep.
But when at a certain point when I was working corporate, I had 18 clients. And I work from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. With a couple breaks in the middle. You know how it is, Dan. For the most part, you work when people aren't working.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. And that's how it really works. So you have people that are 9 to 5, right? You know, and work all these different shifts. And you're working in the morning, in the evening, and then you have some people that are in the middle, right? Yeah. So you're sporadic everywhere. People don't understand that a personal trainer's day is different in comparison to a 9 to 5 job.
Absolutely.
Right? It may seem like it is, 40 hours a week, but no, you're actually here at the gym for 60 to 70 hours because of it. And that's really what it was for me in the first place, as far as what led me to want to do this myself, because I was in a certain position where my value as far as who I am and what I'm actually getting paid per hour wasn't equivalent. So, it took a little bit for me to step out of that comfort zone and step away from it. But, it's been just a growth over the last 3 years of seeing where I am, and being able to actually make that decision was all based off of personal development, was all based off of mindset of, taking that risk. And I guess that's the whole concept of being an entrepreneur, right? Being able to just understand that everything is a risk. Right, but knowing at the end of the day that the result is that reward, right? It's given me a great lifestyle in that sense, because a lot of people say that they do what they want type thing, as far as having a job and whatnot, because they have the financial income, but they're tied to that job for those 40 hours a week. For someone like me, I make my schedule for the most part. I do have some clients that require certain times, but it's fine for me because I don't work a 40-hour work week, but at the same time, I can make it through life. So I'm completely free, but I'm completely busy at the same time, and I love really what I do. Yeah. Right.
And you mentioned that you were a less than good employee.
The worst. I'm gonna go with the worst. Right behind you.
Worst.
How about that?
I can see the title of this episode 4.
The worst.
Dan, the worst employee ever.
Ever.
And Steve Eats Pizza. Other than that, was there Ryan's catalyst to cause him to break it and do his own thing was a journey. It was over time. Was it the same with you, or did you just suddenly wake up one day and say, I'm the worst employee ever, I'm going to go work for myself?
No, it wasn't like that. I was working actually at a construction job. I was installing solar panels.
Okay, cool.
Up north, 9 hours from here in Cochrane, Ontario. I don't know if you guys know where that is.
I do.
Oh,
I spent time in exile myself.
It's a jaunt. Yeah. Let's just go with that.
Is it like Manitoulin?
It's further.
It's
wow.
It's 9 hours.
9 hours.
Okay. 9 hours. Yeah.
No, I mean like secluded, like nothing.
Like
yes,
yeah,
like very much so.
In the middle,
it's exile.
Yeah, they throw OPP officers up there for training. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah, so
character building.
Yeah. Character building. Oh god. Yeah. Yeah. So I was doing that, and I hated what I did. And honestly, I was talking to my fiance, Britt Toth. She's amazing. But I was talking to her one day, and I was like, babe, I just can't do this shit anymore. Like, what? She's like, well, Dan, what would you want to do each and every single morning that you woke up? Personal training. So
there you go.
Over a period of time, and I also went through a network marketing business as well, and I don't care what people say. It's incredible for mindset. It is.
It's unbelievable. It's
unbelievable.
The best education you'll ever get.
It has helped me in ways. I'm still not with the company anymore, but the people that you're around, the atmosphere, the knowledge that you retain from the seminars, or just from talking to people, phone calls, whatever it may be. I have no qualms with network marketing, because I truly think it is the best form of education, one of the best forms of education that you can get.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That actually came up in last week's episode. We were talking about the compound effect. And one of the comments from a seminar we read on the weekend was an objection from a lady that didn't want to join a network marketing company. And she says, I don't want to join one of those companies because they brainwash you to be successful.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that?
Yeah.
I don't want to join one of those companies because they brainwash you to be successful.
Yeah.
Next.
What else do you want to be? Not successful? I mean, like,
that-
But you know what?
That's a bad thing.
people's definition of success is different forms,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people go to their 9-to-5 jobs, and that's their version of successful. Nothing wrong with that, but our versions of success are completely different.
Success is
relative.
definitely a relative.
It is
term.
absolutely everything's relative, right? So.
So that about wraps it up for this week's episode. We're going to close out as always with Ryan's tip of the week.
I guess my tip of the week would be, we've talked about this whole queuing and like rewards and fixing the routine that's in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to steal this from you,
No, it's fine.
but
I've already stole it from you.
Hey, so they say, right? R&D, rob and duplicate.
Rob and duplicate.
Yeah,
It's
rob
the
and
only way to do
duplicate
it,
it, right?
Rob and
Absolutely.
Make it your own, so people are like, hey, he's so profound, right?
Yeah.
As far as when it comes down to that, really, I get a lot of people, for instance, I know that nutrition is probably the biggest thing for a lot of people. And it's focused on changing a lot of the middle, the routine, right? Making better choices. But sometimes it's hard to. So all I'd say again is, and I've mentioned this on previous episodes, is just make sure that you are making better decisions. Like listen to your mind more than you listen to your body as far as what you want. As far as that, like if you guys want to check out my own Facebook site, I actually put a good post on there about carbohydrates and fat loss, right? Because I know that's what plagues majority of people these days, and it talks about what a sedentary person should eat, what a person that works out should eat, as far as their carbohydrates and all the above. So giving people that option and helping them hit their goals as far as that will help out, right?
Dan, any final thoughts? One message you could share?
Honestly, to what Ryan was saying, diet's a huge thing. It's an absolutely monstrous thing. I know people that eat extremely clean throughout the week, work out 3 times a week, and they're in incredible shape. People have this notion that they need to go to the gym 8 times a week. 2 days for the entire week, but that's not it. As long as you're and play around with your diet too. Everyone's diet's different. Don't go on this mundane diet that the general public has going. Like honestly, play with fat percentages, play with carb percentages, everything. Yeah.
Great.
That's
awesome.
Be you. Be you.
Yes,
Yes.
100%.
Absolutely.
It's another lost notion in our society today. Yeah. We forgot how to be ourselves. I always think we're a big cog in the wheel. But we're going to end this show before I go off on another rant that I might regret later.
Like student debt. No, I'm joking.
Like student debt. We could go off on that one.
Let's not go on.
On
Yeah,
that
let's
one.
not
We
go
could
on
go
that.
off on being the cog of the machine, the fact that we're on whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for taking some time to
Absolutely.
come and share with us on the
Absolutely.
podcast. We'll be back in the future. Ryan? Yeah, I got nothing for Ryan. So as always,
It's my life, right?
plug your social media again so people know where to find you.
Stevenson Personal Training on Facebook, and Stevenson PT over Instagram.
Awesome. And whatever platform you guys are looking at, if there's a place for notes, we'll put the links down in the notes.
I just want to say a special thank you again to Fit Club for the
Yes.
facility and
Appreciate
giving us,
it.
Yes, you guys
places
are
to
awesome.
train
best.
and,
You guys are the best.
Appreciate all you guys.
All right, that's it for this episode. We'll see you guys next week. As always, he's at Ryan from work. I'm at Steve Sansford. And remember, how am I supposed to say this again? Because I've been getting it wrong for the last 3 episodes. We're going to get it right this time.
All right.
Before I go off on another rant. The mind must be right, or the body never will be. We'll see you guys next week.